Good day and welcome back to my channel. So here's my next update on the time rod. I tried to do a video of how I get here and the things that I did to make some changes, and yeah, it didn't come out so well. So there will probably be some pictures at some point as far as the certain steps that I did to make some of the alterations here. But for now, this is how much I have gotten done so far, and it's a little bit of a distraction because I don't have this actually mounted, but you can see that I've done something to the front, and there's a lot of cabling. So what I did is I stretched it, went in, and I really wasn't liking how short this was once this got on and once this was placed there. The whole thing ended up, it looked sort of stunted. So what I've done is I've come in and I stretched the frame, and I cut the frame. I took some sprue that was part of the model, just cut it to length, stretched the frame, then I stretched the running boards and so forth. And I'm not super happy with how well those came out. I kind of struggled a bit with the putty, but for a first blush right now, it's not terrible. And I also decided to use these barrels. They've got like a little, actually these guys have like a little toxic symbol on it. So I'll put strap those down, and they will cover up 90% of the issues of where the stretch was, which is nice. I have the body part dropped in. The interior drops in like this. I'm still working on switching it because I am going to switch it over to right-hand drive, like you're in the UK. The other thing I think I'm definitely going to do, I thought about leaving it open, but I think I'd like to go ahead and put the top on. I think overall it ends up looking better and having sort of the look I want. So that's the general look of the design. So there's that. The steam engine, yes, you see wires, so there's lighting. The steam engine, these vents here should light up or give a glow, which is what I'm after. So this is what I'm going to use as a steam engine. Also, we'll put an air scoop here sort of to flush that just a little bit, and then also it'll give an opportunity for weathering streaks with stuff coming off of there. This is the time circuits, and that goes there, and I'll notice that it goes offset, and it does so on purpose. Now what I did is I took all this apart, and I'll get into that, but this is the general look that we're looking. Oops, let's get you back up there. So the general look of what we're looking at that this is going to have is something like that. Something like that, where I did want to have a nice top and so forth. So anyway, so that's the general feel of how this will go. Couple options. Yes, I'm going to light the headlights, and I have options to, and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use the LED lights, so I can mount them down there. I can raise them up. The other thing I could do is I could put them on the fenders. All of which were things that were done with this style of a vehicle. You can, when they were playing around with these cars, you could do all kinds of things. And I'm kind of liking that as an option, putting those up there. It means it'll make it easier to hide the wires, because if I put it under here, then I've got to, fold these under, mount them, and then make it look prettier. There's going to be a lot of work to do to the underside, but we'll get there when I get there. So that's one of the things that need to be done, is figuring out what I'm going to do with the headlights. But I do have I do want to put in headlights. There is lighting inside of the engine, and these viewports will glow. I thought about making more light, making it more lit, but I think that would just sort of take away a bit. You know, I'm still going for an understated kind of look. So doing those, that's kind of what I'm after. So this is the the flux capacitor piece. And the other thing I've done is I've modified this to accept a light. And the action, let's see if I have a, yeah, I do. So right here, of course it's at the bottom of the thing. This is a sprue of one of the ones. So it's solid. And I drilled those out because I was like, okay, let's drill those out so that we can, make lighting. And I did, but I didn't like how it looked. I didn't like it looked rough. I really couldn't get it to look as clean as I wanted to. So I went ahead and I used this stuff. I got a bunch of stuff sitting around. And I felt that made, I could cover that up and that would make it look pretty good. So when we flick it on, that's what we have. And, we have that, and I could put one of the headlight covers here to, so that I can keep that light in the front. Again, I'm using one of those flickery lights from a candle so that it has a random pulse to it. And it has its own switch. Now what I did is I ran this to the housing, drilled a hole in here, tapped into the power source for the flux capacitor thing, and then ran it out. And then what I also did is I ran these out so that I could drop it down underneath the car and power the front. So I could power the headlights and the steam engine at the same time. So you can turn on all of the operating lights, and then separately you turn on your flux capacitor. And I will have to hide this button. I will have to hide the switch, but that's not hard to do. If I need to, I can just magnetize a cover for it. It's easy enough. So this gives me the power that I need to run the rest of the lighting. All I have to do is just run these wires out, and intentionally leave them out, and make the wires part of the build. I will be running cables and pipes and tubes, so there will be, the intent is to run cabling or piping up from this tank into here, same with that one, so that those have things, so that it all looks the part. And then with this offset, so back to the point, with this offset, can then dress up the sides and edge of this on this side to sort of balance out the asymmetry. And I'm intentionally, that's another piece of this build, is I'm trying to try something asymmetrical. That one of the things that a Star Wars design is all about is being asymmetrical, is being not, you know what asymmetrical means. Another thing I'll do is probably run piping from this point down here up into here. I haven't figured out what I want to use, but it would be a larger diameter pipe. I had something that I'd hoped would work, but it was too big to really fit what I was after. So that's kind of where we are right now with the build. I thought about how I wanted to dress up the interior here, and again, the goal is to go for that very Victorian-esque look and give it something that has that feel without, to stay with the steampunk theme and to maintain an overall aesthetic for the feel that I'm after. You know, it's taking some time for me because it's, you know, a lot of what we have to do to build this is figure out not only the construction, but the wiring as well. So, you know, when you put the thing together, if you're going to light it, you know, do you have other things you need to figure in with it? So that's sort of slowing it down. But I'm liking the direction it's going. You know, an important part of this is making sure it has the right lines and so forth. You know, once I put these things in here, you know, this top piece looks like it extends out over the edge a bit, so that'll take a bit of cleanup. Yeah, it does. So if I take that, and that's something I'm seeing just now as I'm doing it, right? So that sticks out. Oh, it's just flash. So I can't. The other thing I can't do that I'm finding out is I wanted to be able to build the interior separately and then just drop it in. I'm going to be able to do most of that, but then the instrument panel and all of that actually is part of the windscreen, which goes on after that gets dropped in. So if I'm going to do anything behind the windscreen, I've got to figure out how to do that before I actually get to that point. And there's going to have to be some base painting and so forth. Oops, my apologies. I yanked my microphone off myself, so sorry. So anyway, you know, I've blathered on here now for a bit, but that's the direction I'm going. If you know, I hope you guys find this useful or interesting anyway, the direction we're taking this contraption. But I'm enjoying the creation part of it. This is one of the things I like to do. You know, I did the same thing with the Hala'asa fighter, and just sort of made things up as I went. I still haven't figured out if I like it that way or with the hood. Or the roof. I'm still kind of thinking I like the roof, just, you know, to give it a something of an all-weather look. You know, who knows? But hey, we'll see where we end up in a bit. Oh yeah, the other thing I was contemplating is this. You know, that's got a lot of detail there, and I'm not sure I like the scale of it all. So I could do this, which would pretty much hide it all, but then when you turn it on, you still see it. Although you don't get to see that with this on. So I think I like it the way it is. But anyway, that's where we are for now. I hope you enjoyed this little, or are enjoying this little journey, and you find the work that I'm doing at least interesting, or, you know, humorous if nothing else. And I will talk to you next time. Thank you for following.